Hey guys, so what is it like to own an apartment complex here in Anaheim? I'm talking with my good friend Guido Nunez. He's going to be breaking down all the numbers. Let's take a look.
My name is Guido Nunez. I'm from Yorba Linda, California, and I specialize in all multifamily, and I've been doing it for about 8 years.
Okay, Guido, give us the details on this property. When you purchased it, how much, and how many units it is?
We're in Anaheim, California. This is an 8-plex. I bought this for $1.5 million 5 years ago.
How much money did it cost out of pocket to purchase something like this?
Yeah, for this one here, we put about $375,000 down.
Where'd you get that money? Because a lot of people are like, I want to purchase something like this, but most people don't have that money.
So for this one here, what I did is about one partner in, they put half of it in.
Okay.
And part of the agreement to bring that one partner in is that they had to float half of my down payment for 0% down for 1 year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job. So how much do you think it's worth now?
It's probably worth between 2.4, 2.5 million, somewhere in there.
2.5 million, so you're a millionaire.
Yeah. I don't like to say that, I'm just like a regular Joe.
So we're in Anaheim, California. Is it a good place to invest?
Yeah, it's a great place. So for a lot of reasons, the first one is the density of the city. That's definitely something you want to look for when you buy something.
Right.
There's a lot of people that want to live in Anaheim, California
Right.
because there's a lot of jobs. The second thing that I looked at when I purchased this property right here is the path of progress. 5 years ago, I came, kind of looked at this property, and over the freeway next door is a big development of luxury condos.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is going to bring in higher end, tenant. It's going to float the rents up. And so from that perspective, then this building becomes more of a bargain.
Okay.
And then that becomes a better play for you financially.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're also down the street from Disneyland.
It's like half a mile.
Yeah,
Like just a few blocks,
you can
right?
walk down there. So I really
Right.
like it. And that becomes a desirability for families that want to come here for a lot of different reasons.
Hey, looking back at this, what would you have done different?
I probably would have bought the sister building right there. This is how much I like this area. That sister building right there, I think 2 over, went up for sale about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't buy it, I wish I did. And the property right here that they just built, it's a gray one, opposite of this one. I knew the developer that finished it, he offered it to me. Man, that would have been a great play, Airbnb, if we can have done it. But Disneyland is just right there, you can walk to it. I regret not buying that one as well.
So Disneyland's right over here?
Disneyland's right over there.
Okay.
Yeah, by that building. So they have plans to continue to expand.
Okay.
It just depends the time frame that they're going to continue to buy up properties and build. And on this side, it's Angel Stadium, and it's called the Platinum Circle. Right there, they're going to build a big entertainment district, dining, different types of entertainment for all the luxury condos that they built on that side. There's about, I think, 400 luxury condos.
Wow.
They built across this way.
So sometimes just knowing the path of progress, seeing it, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah. And sometimes it's pretty obvious. Sometimes it just takes standing on the corner and looking out. I had a property once where I just stood in the corner and I just saw a bunch of cranes. And that told me there that being 3 blocks from a bunch of cranes was the place I needed to buy.
Okay, Guido, so how does one get into investing into an apartment?
So, it really depends what they want to do inside of multifamily.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a capital intensive business, meaning you need a lot of money.
Yes.
But, house hacking, that's like the thing to do right now. It's where you buy like a duplex, you live in one, you rent the other one out, some cash flow. But I think right now is probably a great time for newbies to be the deal finder.
Okay.
Because if you think about like 2 years ago, properties were going up under
Like crazy.
contract like crazy, right? And
Yeah.
so within 24 hours, you would have like 5 bids for the same property.
Way over.
Way
asking.
over, right? So
Yeah,
that was crazy. Like today, properties will stay on the market for a good 60 days plus.
Okay.
So if you're a newbie and you start deal finding, look for a good property, as long as you have some investors with money that want to invest, you could bring them together.
Okay.
So that's a great way to get into the business.
Okay.
You can ask for some equity, or you can ask for a really nice referral fee. So there's way. I think right now is a good time for newbies to be the deal finder.
So I've heard this term thrown around, syndication, when it comes to apartments. What is a syndication?
So syndication is basically, if you think about how much money it takes to buy one of these properties, is a lot. And so that you need a down payment. A syndication is basically a group of investors pulling together their money to raise that down payment and buy this property. Within a syndication, you're always going to have 1 or 2 leaders or general partners, as we call them. They're the ones that are going to find the deal, source it, get the financing, ultimately close the deal for the group of investors. That's a syndication.
Let me ask you this, because I've owned single family homes before. What's the big difference here?
So the big difference is you're still going to have a ton of headaches.
Okay.
Obviously, the lender is going to be asking more questions about the actual property, but for the management itself, you're just going to have a lot more boxes in itself. I've owned single family homes as well. I'll tell you, it's probably operationally not a big difference.
Okay.
It's just a lot more tenants.
Okay. So let's talk numbers a little
Yeah.
bit here. Let's say someone has X amount of capital.
Yeah.
What kind of returns are we looking at here as based on a percentage?
Yeah, so it's going to really depend on what class, A, B, C, D. The 4 classes in multifamily,
Okay.
where A is the best and D is kind of more of the rougher areas.
Right.
In terms of cash on cash, if you're an active investor, you're probably looking anywhere between 10 to 20% cash on cash, and then you have to add in your appreciation of the actual value.
So it cash flows really strong, but really the bang for your buck is the appreciation in these things, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the appreciation, you're looking at, I've had buildings go 2x, 3x. I had one almost go 4x. So
4x.
Yeah.
I need to borrow some money, man. Come on.
There you go, brother. So it really depends on what type of asset you're getting yourself into.
Okay.
The value, first value appreciation of the property is a big place.
Okay.
The self-appreciation in the market is another
Right.
big play.
Right.
The cash on cash, if that's kind of what you're looking for, it's also kind of an added incentive.
Right. Okay, so I am here in Southern California, Anaheim, California. Disneyland is like less than a mile away. I hear a lot of people saying that California is dead and we shouldn't invest in there. What's your take on it?
I think the opposite. I still think that
Right.
this is a great market to invest, and so there's obviously a lot of investors going out of state. I've gone out of state myself,
Right.
As well. But Southern California is still a very dense market. A lot of people are here. A lot
Right.
of jobs are still here.
Yes.
A lot of people want to live here. I mean, look how perfect the weather is.
Right.
So there's still a lot of people wanting to live here. It's a great market. So if more investors leave, good. The more for us.
Right? What is one thing you had to learn the hard way when owning an apartment building?
Yeah, it's not sunny every day. I've learned that there's going to be ebbs and flows, ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think when I first started getting into it, I would underwrite the deal. And underwriting basically means you're just looking at the budget of the property when you buy it, all the expenses.
Right.
And I thought everything was going to be perfect.
No.
It never is, right? Zero vacancy, zero bad debt.
Yeah.
And everything's going to flow exactly how it is. But I cut it too close. And there were a lot of sleepless nights of whether I'm going to be able to,
People don't see that.
People don't see that, right?
No.
That's a reality of the business. Once
Right.
you become more experienced in it, then you're able to react
Yeah.
and kind of foresee those kind of issues.
Right.
So early on, not planning enough reserves,
Okay.
which caused a lot of stress for me.
Okay.
That was what I didn't see. But now when I buy buildings, I'm looking at a reserve account.
So I guess this might be leads into my other question. What advice would you have to a newbie looking to invest into an apartment?
Yeah, become a smart investor. I would say read as much as you can, network as much as you can, listen
Okay.
to as much podcast as you can.
Okay.
In a nutshell, have a ferocious appetite for knowledge.
Okay.
And before you get into your first deal, make sure that you're able to do all of that
Okay.
to become a smarter investor.
Okay, so Guido, if you had to do it all again, what would you have done different?
Yeah, I think I would have started earlier.
Okay.
I think early on in my multifamily career, I really didn't understand what multifamily investing was, right?
Okay.
That there was ways to increase the value of the property and the investments, and so it took me a while to finally kind of figure that out. And so what I would have done differently is started earlier, getting educated earlier,
Okay.
making connections earlier.
Right. Okay, hot take, because I get this from newbies all the time.
Yep.
I have $10,000 to invest. Where do I start?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you would take that 10,000, and I don't. Not all newbies like this answer.
Okay.
There's a lot of risk in it. I would take the 10,000s and find myself a mentorship.
Okay.
And invest it. So like I said, I would start earlier.
Yeah.
So mentorship kind of gives you that warp speed
Right.
into more years, but just faster. Here's the key is actually 2 things I would say about that is the first one is you're gonna get what you put into it. So if you spend that money and you don't act and take action or take it seriously, you're gonna waste that money.
Right.
And the second thing I'll say, about that is do your research. Understand what kind of mentors are good.
Right.
Get some feedback from other people who've gone through mentorship. Do they like it?
Right.
Make sure you're spending that money wisely.
Guido, give us 3 influencers that people should be following right now.
I like having a big breadth of real estate investment knowledge. So I like Ryan Pineda because he's all about the real estate. It's a different perspective for me. I like the mindset of Grant Cardone. The whole 10X philosophy is, I think, everyone has to practice that. And then lastly, I really enjoy Gary Lipsky, Break a Day Capital.
Good guy.
He's a big investor in Arizona. I like building relationships, and so he's shared a lot of great insights with me. So that's a big one that I follow as well.
Where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you could look me up at www.thew2investor.com, or just look me up on Instagram at the W2Investor.